What's poppin', folks? Welcome back to Chat with Charlie. I am your host, Charlie. Hey to all my existing subscribers, and if you are new to my channel, welcome to you. I started Chat with Charlie to just be an open, honest dialogue between myself and other Black millennials who are looking for help and advice on marriage, relationships, parenthood, and personal growth. So if that's your thing, definitely subscribe and hit me up on Instagram. I am at Chat with Charlie. Charlie does not have an E on the end. So moving right along, y'all, to today's video, we're going to be helping those of you who are trying to decide if you should have children. This is something I have a lot of experience in, and I'm excited to share with you what I have to say. So definitely continue to watch if you are interested in this topic. First, I would like to say as a disclaimer, y'all, that I love my children. They are absolutely a blessing. And the reason why I wanted to say that is because a lot of what I'm saying in this video can be taken as negative. And it's not negative, it's just real life. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I always say it's no fantasies, no gimmicks, it's just real life. And so definitely don't think that I'm taking the perspective that you should not have children. I am just sharing with you some things that my husband and I have experienced, and hopefully it will be able to help you. Okay, so let's get started. Number one, do you have a support system? This, to my husband and I, is like honestly the number one foundational question that you need to ask yourself if you are considering having children. Do you have a support system? So the African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child was absolutely correct. You are going to need people to come in and help you to raise your children. You cannot do it by yourself, especially not in today's era. We have a pandemic happening, okay? And even before the pandemic, it's very difficult for Black millennials for us to raise our children by ourselves in isolation. You can do it. My husband and I are somewhat doing it, but it is very difficult. And so if you're trying to make that decision, I would say, who do you have around you in your 10, 20 mile radius that you could rely on to help give you a break when you need one as you're raising your children? Because if you want to think about your self-care routine and just continuing to maintain your mental sanity, you're going to need a break as a parent because it's a lot. So in my case, my husband and I have pretty much done the majority of our parenting completely by ourselves. And that's because, if you know my story, I was raised by a single father. My mother has mental illness and she does not live in the same state as me, so we can't rely on her. And then my husband's mother lives in another state as well, so we can't rely on her. So we usually have to kind of piece together a couple family members that we feel are both willing and able to help us with our sons when we are desperate for a date night and just we have some stuff that we really have to get done, or there have been like a few emergencies here or there, small emergencies like car accidents, and we're like, hey, can you go grab the kids? But for the most part, we do all the day-to-day things of raising our children on our own, and I can tell you that it's very, very difficult. We don't have as much of a break as we would like to have. We would love to be able to go out on a date every week or even once a month, and a lot of times we don't do that because we do not have people to regularly watch our children. So if I was you, I would consider who you have in your immediate family, who you have amongst your friends, cousins, whoever, that would be able to help you, because if you don't have that, you'll probably be in a position where you need to pay for it. We have not done a lot of that in our marriage because we're very protective of our children. We want to be careful who we leave them with. That's why I said, is the person willing and able? When you're a parent, there are going to be some people who are willing and you do not feel like they are able. And then there are going to be some people who are able and they are not willing because of their schedule or whatever. So this is just a really big topic, and I'm telling you that you're going to need help. And so just consider that before having children. Secondly, I would like to say, do you have the emotional and mental ability to raise a child? Now, what do I mean by this? I have talked about in previous videos that ever since becoming a mother, I have had anxiety. It stemmed from the loss of my first child. And I don't remember having any anxiety before becoming a mom. Like, I would get a little bit anxious before like speaking engagements or like maybe a test or something, but I never had like full out anxiety. And I do have anxiety now, and I can tell you that being a parent sort of increases that anxiety. So if you're someone who has a mental health struggle, if you are prone to depression, if you have substance abuse, that type of thing, that's what I mean by, are you emotionally and mentally able to give everything that is needed from a child? Another thing that I want to say, if you are an introvert, so y'all, we're in 2020, right? We're in a pandemic. And I can just be honest with you and say that since the kids have been home, I have become more introverted. There has been so much going on this year. You know, a lot of parents have been dealing with kids being home, still having the obligation of working. Some people even have businesses on the side, and it has been a lot. And in this time, I've become more introverted because on a regular basis, you know, the kids are asking me questions. They need things. They want things. They want to go outside and play. They want lunch. They want this. They're arguing. And because I have one of those personalities that's a little bit extroverted but also introverted, I have actually noticed that as a result of all the draining happening throughout the day, that when I do get times of peace, like I just want to be by myself. I don't want to be out. I don't want to be around people. And so that's something for you to consider. You know, talk with, if you have a counselor, talk with them about it. Obviously, you and your spouse make that decision, but I want people to be aware because we don't often talk about mental health, and parenthood honestly can have an impact on your mental health, you know. So I just want you to be aware of that, you know, and consider that in your decision. And number 3, do you have the time? Y'all, this is a big one, especially for Black millennials. A lot of us are entrepreneurs. A lot of us are out here. We're trying to hustle. We're trying to make it. And for a lot of us, that means entrepreneurship. That means that we are starting a new business, and new businesses are just like children. They need a lot of patience, support, attention, time. And so, like for instance, I'll give you an example. But when my husband and I were deciding if we wanted to have a third child, I straight up told him, I was like, bro, we either going to start businesses or a business, or we're going to have another child. Like, we cannot do both. We don't have the time, the energy, the support to have another child. So we chose to just stick with the 2 that we have and to focus more on entrepreneurship. And so I would tell you that if you are a new business owner, you're trying to hustle, break generational curses of just financial bondage and all of those things, like, just consider the amount of time that you're going to have to dedicate to raising a child. It is not easy. And another thing that I want to say, y'all, and of course I'm speaking from a mother's perspective. If you are, first I'm going to talk to the husbands or to the men. If you are a man and you're considering, man, should I have children? I want to say that one of the things that you might run into, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you can run into some friction in your marriage or in your relationship if you are so focused on your business endeavors that you're not able to be as a part of your child's life. I do think that some men assume that, hey, if I have a woman in my life, if I have a wife in my life, and we have a child, she will be able to take care of that child, and I'm going to be off pursuing my dreams. And y'all know that we're in 2020 and things are a little bit different. And many women have businesses of our own. And so it's not going to be as easy to assume that your wife is going to be able to just raise the child by herself. Again, I'm not trying to judge men. I'm not saying that men aren't there for their children, but I'm just offering you a real perspective so that you don't walk into a situation not knowing what to expect. Now, for the women, for the wives or the future wives, I do want you to know that being a wife and a mother and an entrepreneur is very difficult. We know that women tend to have a little bit more, we're a little bit more in tune with our children's needs. And so I can tell you that it's hard sometimes when you're trying to hustle, you're trying to live your dream, and you feel this sense of guilt, like you're not there for your children enough. So just be prepared for that. And all of that ties into my third point, like I said, of do you have enough time? If you are on the entrepreneurial journey, and especially if your business is new and requires a lot of your time and attention, you really got to figure that out with you and your spouse. What's best for your lifestyle? I can't tell you what to do. But I can tell you that again, a business is going to take just about the same amount of energy as a child. And so if you do not have a lot of support, you're probably going to be in a situation where you're feeling guilty because you don't have enough time to raise that child. Now, I don't know if that means that you just make the decision to not have children. I don't know if that means that you make the decision to wait to have children or to have children now and postpone your business dreams. I don't know what that means for you, but those are all the things that you need to discuss. And if you want me to talk a little bit more, I would love to share more. I just don't want this video to be too long. I just want to give the points, and but I would love to share more. If you would like me to, definitely leave me a comment down below and hit me up on Instagram in my DM. If you guys have any video ideas for me, I love to share. Again, that's why I started this platform. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's helped you navigate a little bit the decision of whether or not you want to have children as a Black millennial or as anyone. But again, my channel is more focused towards Black millennials because there are not a lot of resources for us out there sharing this information. So first, consider your support system. Don't forget the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. Number two, consider if you are in a mental health position and even an emotional position to give the amount of energy that it takes to a child. And number three, do you have the time with all of your other commitments? Okay, so y'all be blessed. Again, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram, follow my page there, and I look forward to being back with you in another video real soon. Bye.